Alright, so in problem 37, we're comparing discharge rates at a large versus a small hospital for major and minor surgery. Okay, so what I did is I created my own little table. There you go. I put the totals in. So I put the marginal totals by type of surgery and by type of hospital. Okay, this is type of surgery, this is type of hospital. So question A says, overall, what percent of patients was discharge delayed? Well, it's a 160 out of 1,300. And that comes out to 12.3%. Okay. And then question D, let me just widen this out a little bit for you. There you go. Question B says, what were the percentages different for major and minor surgery? Well, for major surgery, it's 130 out of 850, which comes out to 15.3%. And then minor surgery was 30 out of 450. And that comes out to 6.7%. Okay. And then C, what was the discharge delay rate at each hospital? So for a large hospital, it's 130 out of 1,000, which is 13%. And then the small hospital, it's 30 out of 300, which is 10%, right? So it looks like the small hospital does a better job than the large hospital. Okay. And then part D said, what were the delay rates at each hospital for each type of surgery? Okay, so basically what we have is we got to set up a little table. Okay, so let's look at the large hospital first. Okay, so for the large hospital, I'm just going to pull this down right now. Major surgery was 120 out of 800, so that's 15%. Okay, and then minor surgery was 10 out of 200, which is 5%. And then for the small hospital, major surgery was 10 out of 50, which is 20%. And then minor surgery was 20 out of 250, which was 8%. Okay, so we got an issue here because it looked like in the last problem that the small hospital had a lower discharge rate than the large hospital, but in fact, for both types of surgery, both minor and major, the large hospital has a lower discharge rate. So this is an example of Simpson's paradox. Okay. So question E, you know, the smaller hospital advertised as a lower rate than the large hospital. What does that mean? Well, the smaller hospital does have a lower overall rate, but the large hospital has a lower rate for both major and minor surgeries. Okay, so the large hospital actually did better. Okay, and then the question in F is why. And if we look at the table, the large hospital did a whole lot more major surgeries than the small hospital. Okay, while the small hospital did a much larger percentage of minor surgeries. But even though the large hospital did a much smaller percentage of minor surgeries, you could see that they had way less delays when they do minor surgery. They do a much better job when they do minor surgeries than the small hospital, but the small hospital tends to do a lot more minor surgeries. So that's why Simpson's paradox happened.